Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to today's live stream. I'm Carl Peterson, Credit Suite's content and social media lead. And I am so glad that you're joining me for a topic that's not just exciting to me, selfishly exciting as the social lead, but it's also a absolute game changer for your business when done correctly. Today we're talking about how to use business credit for social media. If you're here, then you're probably already using social media to grow your brand, or at least maybe even thinking about it, whether you're running ads or creating content or hiring help. These things cost money, and that's unfortunate, but it does. And many things, like when it comes to ads, cost a lot of money. But that's where business credit can actually step in and help you fund your social media growth without pulling from personal finances or disrupting any kind of cash flow. So by the end of this stream right here, right now, I hope you'll walk away with a very clear understanding of how business credit can be actually used effectively for social media to avoid any kind of common pitfalls that you may experience along the way. But before we get in too deep, this is live. So say hello in chat. I'll make sure to give you a shout out. Feel free to drop your business name and where it's located. I'll be keeping an eye on chat as we move along. So let's begin at the beginning. What is business credit and why is it even important? Well, that's a really good question. So basically, business credit is the ability to borrow money or access credit in your company's name. Isn't that cool? So, unlike personal credit, this credit is tied to your business's EIN, not your social security number or anything like that. And what this does is this separates you from your business and it separates your business from your personal finances, which is obviously crucial for protecting your personal assets. Secondly, it opens up opportunities to access way larger amounts of credit as your business grows. Kind of a win-win, right? So where does business credit actually come in for social media? So, social media is one of the most effective ways to grow a business, but it's not always cheap, as we have already kind of alluded to, right? So, if you want to run ads or work with influencers or even upgrade your video production, you will need that moolah. But that's where business credit comes in, right? It lets you actually take those investments, right? Let's call them investments. That's what they are, like running ads and video production. It allows you to take those investments without stressing about cash flow or tapping into personal savings. And this is the business credit way. We spend a lot of money each month on ads. And also, we have a videographer team that professionally produces all of our weekly YouTube content and shorts and stuff like that. This allows us to keep up with social media needs to grow the business in that avenue of things without worrying about where it's coming from because it's already there. But this isn't some kind of crazy concept that Credit Suite came up with, even though that'd be pretty cool if we did. But we can't take the credit for that. We can take the credit for a lot of things, but not that. Because using business credit instead of personal finances or business cash flow dipping into it is what all massive companies on the planet do, or at least they should be doing, right? I don't know how they're a massive company without doing that, but maybe there's one or two that exists. But I would say the majority of giant companies in the world are using business credit. When you go shopping next time, I can almost assure you that every single thing you see, from the technology to the lights to the signs to the staff to the products on the shelf to the shopping carts and everything in between, all came from a business line of credit. So, this is the part where we get really practical, right? So, let's look at how you can use business credit to actually boost your social media presence. So, number one, first and foremost, we've already talked about it a little bit, running paid social media ads. So, paid advertising is one of the fastest ways to grow on platforms like Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn and TikTok. But effective ad campaigns require a budget. Frankly, it just does. There's no way around it, right? Business credit gives you that flexibility to fund your ads upfront and scale as you see results, right? So here's the trick. You can use, when you use it wisely, your business line of credit by starting small. That's the trick here. So you can test your ad campaigns and actually see what looks the best to the audience, or does video work over photo, or what platform's the best, right? There's a lot of factors into what makes what the best for you and your business when it comes to paid ads. And then once you identify kind of the winning ad and the winning platform and the winning caption and video or photo, you can scale it by using your business credit line. And don't forget, many business credit cards offer cash back or some sort of rewards for ad spending. So you're literally earning something back even if you invest upfront with the ads. Obviously, I'm not an accountant. I'm not a tax expert. So take everything I say in this stream as just simple knowledge compared to direct advice, since frankly, every single business is very different from the next one. But typically speaking, from a very high level, figuring out social media ads takes up a lot of time and money until you get it right. So remember that going in. Number two is partnering with influencers. So influencers can give you access to an engaged audience that already exists. You don't have to build it from scratch. It already is there. They created it. They did the work. You pay them for that. So the challenge is that with influencer marketing often comes with a lot of upfront costs, obviously. With business credit, you could partner with influencers to actually promote your products or your services without worrying about those immediate out of pocket expenses. Are you catching up on a theme for today's stream? So one piece of advice I have to pause and stop here and mention, which is you'd want to choose an influencer whose audience aligns with your target market. That may seem like an obvious thing to do, but just saying it because I see a lot of times business owners just go with the cheapest and biggest one that they can find. And that may not be the best route to take. A smaller, more engaged audience is often way more effective than a massive but unrelated following. Step number three, you can invest in content creation tools. So, high quality content is the key to standing out on social media. Tools like Canva, Adobe Creative Suite, or even leaning into AI driven content generators can elevate your visuals and videos and just post all around. These tools often require subscriptions of some sort, or just could be pricey regardless of how you pay for it. So business credit allows you to invest in these resources without disrupting your budget. And that investment can go a very long way, though. I mean, it can very, very, very easily help you stand out from your competition. So that's always a great thing, right? Number four is simply just hiring social media experts. So if you're not a social media expert, or you simply just don't have the time, hiring someone to manage your accounts could be a smart move here. And this is actually really, really, really common. So whether it's a freelancer or an agency or a dedicated team member you want to hire and bring in-house, business credit makes it easier to cover those fees while you focus on other areas of your business. Frees up your time, let somebody else who's the expert kind of be heads down where it matters. The goal of outsourcing is to free up your time and to get better results than you could achieve on your own, which could be turned around and turned directly into profit. So number four is hiring a social media expert. So let's go over the four that we just talked about. Okay. Number one, running paid social media ads. Number two is partnering with an influencer. Number three is investing in content creation tools. And then number four is hiring social media experts. Let's kick things up a notch. Okay. How's that sound? So when you find a social media strategy or an ad campaign that actually works, you can scale it aggressively, but obviously strategically at the same time, right? So you can use your business credit to fund higher ad spends, or expand into new markets or new platforms, or experiment with different types of posts. For example, if a campaign works well on Instagram, You might want to adapt it for LinkedIn or TikTok to see what happens there. You could potentially triple your revenue stream off of a winning ad. Something to think about. Seasonal promotions are also just an all-around excellent way to drive sales. If I'm talking to anybody who's in retail, this isn't breaking news by any means, but they do require upfront investments. So using business credit to fund these campaigns, knowing that the returns will likely come in quicker is usually a good route to take. Again, I'm not a tax expert, I'm not an accountant, but generally speaking, funding seasonal promotions directly through social media using business credit could be a really solid tactic that you could implement for your business. Something else you may now have a new budget for is a marketing term called A/B testing, right? So this involves running multiple versions of the same ad to see which performs better. Business credit gives you that flexibility to test on a larger scale, ensuring that you find the most effective strategies actually before diving in and committing to one. So before we wrap up, I want to touch on a few common mistakes to avoid. Okay. Number one, we've talked about ads a lot. It's where mostly everyone uses the majority of their budget when it comes to social media. Let's talk about ads one more time. Mistake number one, overspending on ads. It's so easy to do. It's actually scary easy to do. So you want to make sure that you always set a budget for your campaigns and more importantly, stick with it. It's pointless if you created a budget and don't stick with it. You got to do both at the same time. So even if you have access to a high credit limit, make sure you always use that wisely. Number two mistake is ignoring return on investment. So if your social media spend isn't generating a return on investment, maybe it's time to reassess. So you can use analytical tools that can be third party or that could be on the platforms themselves, or you can use sales tactic or sales tracking tactics like there's a million. My mind just went to a million places. You can use UTM links. You can use lead scoring. You can use a ton of different sales tracking tactics that actually measure the effectiveness of your campaigns and then just adjust them as needed. And then mistake number three is just neglecting your payments. Again, something that sounds a little obvious, but it just simply doesn't matter how well a social media campaign may be working for you. If you're not making your payments, then you're doing some serious damage to your business, potentially long term. So simply just make sure you're making those payments that you agreed to make. Let's do a recap. Okay. So business credit can give you the financial flexibility to invest in social media without straining any of your personal finances or cash flow. So you can use business credit for paid ads and influencers, partnerships and tools, or hiring experts. Building business credit requires setting up your business properly, opening up accounts, and maintaining good financial habits. We didn't touch a lot on that today. We have a million pieces of content that you can look at after this stream ends, touching on those specific things. But building business credit always is a pro, always making sure that you're building that profile up. And then just simply be strategic with your business credit by scaling with what works, testing ideas, typically on a smaller scale. And then, of course, avoid those common pitfalls like we just touched on, like overspending. Finding success in a field that you may or may not have any kind of previous experience in, like social media. Usually when I talk to people outside of social media, it's a very scary place, right? They have no idea. Do I use hashtags? What should I be spending my time on posting on? Do I? There's lots of do I's questions. It's scary, but it makes sense. It's a massive, massive, massive place. And if you're just stepping in, could absolutely be overwhelming. But the good news is, even if you may or may not have previous experience, I can tell you right now from my experience that it isn't as hard as it may seem, especially when you have business credit at your fingertips to figure things out while you work towards that success. But all of this revolves around actually having business credit. So before we end our time here together, you need to know about Credit Suite's brand new tool. I can't stop talking about it. I love the dang thing. It is the fundability scan. So this gives you insight into what lenders see about you and your business, the green flags, the red flags, all of it mixed in together, and it only takes 60 seconds. You can start that scan at fundabilityscan.com. That is fundabilityscan.com. The team worked really hard on this for a really long time, I feel like, and we are just so excited to have it live. So take advantage of it. That's why it's there. It truly only takes 60 seconds to find these answers out. And with that, that is already today's stream. Where'd the time go? I want to thank you all for coming in and hanging out. In just a minute, this recording turns into a video, or this live stream turns into a video, and you can play back on whatever platform you're watching on right now if you're wanting to go back and watch any section again. It's very easy. As soon as I end it, pretty much just reload after about 10 seconds. You can skip through and fast forward and rewind and do whatever you need to do. And don't forget to drop a follow or a subscription for daily content and weekly live streams. We do these right here twice a week. So I hope to see you again this Thursday, same time, same place. And don't forget to check out fundabilityscan.com. Everybody, I hope you